Sounds good.
Hi, guys. So here I am with Ellis Chan, who is one of our registered psychologists. And so Ellis and I were just having a consult, and we were talking about how schools have been announced that they will be reopening in September. And wow, what a huge deal this is. So, what this means is basically the kids have been off school for 6 months. And usually it's 2 months, which is hard enough on many of our youth and children as it is. So I guess for you, Ellis, when you're considering this and the youth and children that you're working with, what might be ways that we see their fear and anxiety showing up?
Yeah, I think it's a really important thing to consider, Tara, because I think normally we find transitions to be difficult for some people, and the transitions are difficult. Others, they can roll for just fine, but with a transition like this, we've been off for so long that transitioning back to school and with changes too. We're not just transitioning back to school, we're transitioning to a very different school. Um, my 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 experience would suggest that we're going to see a lot of behavior issues as we get closer to that time. I would guesstimate towards the end of August, and especially in the first couple of weeks of September. Some of the behaviors that I might see are a little more emotional dysregulation. You might see a little bit of anger, irritability, oppositional behavior, defiance. And I guess something that I have to be mindful of as a clinician, but also as a father, is that it can be difficult to not address these for the face value that they are, that it can be really frustrating to have your kid display these behaviors. Um, but if I was to look underneath as to what these behaviors are really trying to communicate, um, my gut feel would be, given the circumstances, is that there's probably some apprehension, some anxiety over there. We have a return to something we don't know what it's going to look like. I think as parents, we're also uncertain about this. And for kids, they don't know what their whole day in the school is going to look like. What is it going to be like to hang out with friends or not hang out? How do we social distance and hang out? How do you do simple things like if you want to go to the bathroom? You're not allowed to use your lockers anymore. Where you sit in class. I mean, a lot of these things are already, these can be big questions for kids on normal school days. Where do you sit in the class? Who's sitting in your class with you? Where do you go to the bathroom in the school? But now we're doing it with all these new measures in place. The other one that I think I'm wary of is that uh, in in the time as we've had this lockdown, I've seen a lot of kids who have had anxieties about social acceptance or social anxiety in general. Like, you've actually seen a lot of these anxieties come down because there's no pressure to expose themselves in these situations as they've been at home doing Google Meet classrooms. But now we're going back. And then so I would say, like, it's not just a transition from being at home this whole time into a new world that we're not familiar with, but even for this long of a period for kids who have social anxiety, that's a huge jump over there. And I
And
would
I
say
think,
that,
oh,
yeah,
I just sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to highlight too with what you're saying. Very
yeah,
eloquent, beautiful job of how you're speaking about this. Is that it is so normal for children and teens to have a sense of social anxiety going back into school. And so that
totally.
like fear in high school of, will I be able to find my locker? Will I be able to find my classrooms? Who will I be friends with? My friends like me again? If there was any hint of drama before I left last year, the fear is that people will remember. And then you think of with the little ones, the elementary school kids, they're always afraid that their teacher is going to fall in love with them. And if they're children who struggle to fit in socially already, there's all these extra normal anxieties that you and I are used to coming alongside of kids in August and supporting them. And then there's this whole other problem we don't have research on, which is like the kids have missed 6 months of school. And that creates this extra barrier. And it is really concerning for their mental well-being.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that it certainly is concerning for that. And this is a big adjustment for them.
Yeah. And I know that there's a second piece that Ellis and I want to get into about how to support the kids, but I'm just going to, we're going to pause on this one and then we'll do a second piece because there's so much good content here. So I guess what Ellis and my goal is that, hey, if you see your kids struggling in these ways, or you're just concerned, please reach out for support. And we are one of the places where you can reach out for those supports. Okay. Anything you want to say before we move on, Ellis?
Um, Nothing in particular. I would say just in reaching out to consider that sometimes there's a little bit of fear about who you're reaching out to, and just know that we're all pretty familiar with that process. So if the connection isn't there with that one person, really comfortable as a therapist about finding someone else for a better fit. No worries over there.
Yeah. And if your children are so lucky as to meet Ellis, they all tend to like him and laugh with him. Okay, so we will catch
Sure.
you guys in the second part on this piece, which is how to support our kids. Bye.
Thanks, sir.